Alright, so this is going to be the review on my 2018 Polaris Sportsman 570 EFI. It's the bone stock model with just your stock stuff. No power steering, no electronic braking, none of that crap. It's the first four-wheeler I've ever owned, so I didn't really know how deep to get in it, but I figured power steering and electric braking, it's just kind of another thing to potentially go wrong, and I don't really want to have to put any more money into maintenance than I need to. And so far it's been great. The one thing I did do is get these 26-inch Outback Max tires. They are amazing. The only downside with them is they're about 40, I forget what it said, 44 pounds each or something like that, without even being on the rim, which is heavy, but I didn't really notice any change in performance. The only downfall other than that is that they only come in a 10-inch wide tire. So to make it fit with stock rims, for the stock offset, I had to run spacers. These are 1.5 inches. Probably could have got away with just a 1-inch spacer. You can see there, got lots of room in between the tire and the tie rod. So I can definitely trim that in a little bit because it is really wide stance the way it is. It's about 52 inches, I want to say, on the front, and about the same on the back too. So yeah, it did make it a little wider, which is tricky in some tight trails, but it hasn't really been an issue yet. It doesn't really need a clutch kit with it, but I think that will be the next step, so I can get that little bit more torque back that I lost with the weight. Other than that, this bike's been amazing. There's a few dumb things that they did, like the battery location I think is in a pretty stupid spot. That might be relocated if it ever gives me any issues, but so far it's been completely submerged and no issues yet. Still starts up fine. I even I used the winch to lift that heater up into place, so that was great. But that almost killed the battery the other day, but I ran it for about an hour and it starts up no problem. The nice feature on the 2018s is this sort of LED display it has with everything on it. It's got like your engine temp and kilometer per hour, RPM, and then if you go down you can change that to, you can have your setup however you want it really. So yeah, I have about 7.5 hours left until my first service is required for the hours. But yeah, I have, well there you see, I have 337 kilometers on it so far, and I've only put about 1.5 tanks of fuel through it, so it's been pretty good on gas so far. It starts up usually right away. I don't know if I can, maybe if I put the lock on the brake I can do this here with one hand. Set you down for a second. Okay, so starts right up, no problem. Sounds pretty good with the stock exhaust. I think I'll leave that. I don't really see a need to put anything aftermarket on it. I'm not looking for it to sound crazy or anything. I haven't really had the exhaust submerged underwater for too long yet, obviously, being without snorkels or anything. So I don't really know how it handles underwater running, but I haven't read anything online about it being an issue. So, but yeah, these things are great. Tons of front storage here. I just keep random stuff in usually. I got a tug strap for if I ever need to pull anyone out or pull myself out and the winch won't reach. Or I keep, you gotta have your roll of tickets when you're out in the bush, you never know. And then I got my riding gloves in here as well, and I usually keep my ownership and everything velcroed right here for when I'm riding, in case I ever get pulled over by the fuzz. So yeah, that's pretty good. And there's also this dry storage in the back here, which is another great thing that they have, where I keep all my tool set and everything in a dry bag. So yeah, that's pretty handy. And then I went ahead and got this 2-up seat as well, so my girlfriend can ride a little bit more comfortably. Which is also another little added storage. I got a dust cover in there for if I'm ever overnight somewhere. And then this side, you can fit a small fishing rod in there, collapsible one, and your tackle and stuff. So that'll be nice for ice fishing. And yeah, it's been pretty great. The only thing I've added other than the tires are this light bar, which I think Polaris wanted like fucking $280 for or something. But see if I can get it to go. I got my switch is a little finicky right now. There it goes. So you can see it's pretty bright. It definitely outshines the stock headlights by quite a bit. I tinted over this center light because I found it was pretty useless. I know people do that switch mod so all three of them come on with your high beams, but I didn't really see the need for that since I got the LED bar. And then I got my winch, of course. You need one of those if you're going to be doing any sort of mud riding, because if you don't, you're kind of going to be screwed. And this bash bar, which I luckily haven't had to use for anything crazy yet, but it's nice if you need to run into something or push one of your buddies along or whatever, right? So yeah, so far this has been a pretty good purchase. I'm happy with it. For the money, I don't think you can beat it. The all-wheel drive works amazing on it. Never gotten into an issue where as long as you have the ground clearance, I haven't found a mud hole that it won't really just plug along through in low gear. It's these things are geared super low, which is awesome. So I keep it in low most of the time when I'm on the trails because from what I've read, it's better for your belt life, which I checked the other week and there's like no belt wear on it after 330K of pretty beaten up trail riding, so pretty happy with that. But there'll be a few mods to come along. I think next week I'm going to get started on the snorkel kit, and I'm going to try and make one that doesn't interfere at all with the storage space, because I'd like to keep all that. And the rad relocate is going to sit right on top of it, and the snorkels are either going to come up through here right in front of the head pod, or I might do the head pod delete and just get rid of it totally. It would be nice to keep something there to run all the breathers for the transmission and for the diffs and everything, and the overflow all up into here. Just keep them out of the water. But other than that, that's pretty much it for the Polaris Sportsman. It's a great purchase. I definitely recommend it, especially for a first-time buyer.